My name is Craig, and I'll be giving the talk this morning. And the topic is equanimity, finding the calm in the center of the storm. Equanimity is encapsulated in that song we just sung, finding the center within ourselves. And it's from that center that we're able to find the infinite peace, joy, and love of divine spirit. It is from that center that we can sit, and even though the storms rage around us, we can be calm and open to receiving the right course of action. Years ago, me and a couple other people created a labyrinth, which you see down below the temple at its current site. The labyrinth is a spiral pathway which moves clockwise and counterclockwise. And if you stay on the path, you reach the center, which represents to me the center of our soul, or the center. Norm Paulson called it the pure self within. I've been reflecting on the life of Buddha the last couple of weeks, and how he brought this, his realization into this world with the middle path. And that is the essence of equanimity. In the language of Buddha, there are two definitions of this word, equanimity. One translation means to look over, which means that if you're observing, but you have the ability to observe a situation without being caught by what you see. And being a Libra, I guess we all do this. I look at a situation and I react. And I was taking this class, actually it was a whole program on how to relax yourself when a panic attack is coming on. So that was interesting because a lot of that is judgment. You know, we're looking at a situation and then we quick judge it. And in this workshop, it was saying that about 97% of what we judge in that state of agitation is false. And I can attest to that. Some things are major and some things are very minor, but the information that we receive needs to be filtered from a calm place within. The other translation of the word equanimity means to stand in the middle. And this is the balance. We stand in that middle. That inner balance can keep us upright, much like the ballast of a ship keeps it upright in strong winds and gives rise to a great sense of peace. Sunburst used to have a 160-foot schooner, a Star Pilot. And in the lodge, there's a big picture of it. In 1991, it was in Boston with the crew working on maintenance. And at that time, there was a hurricane moving up the Atlantic seaboard towards New England. This hurricane was a Category 3 and it was weakening a little bit. But one of the crew members on the ship remembers seeing this huge column of clouds coming in to the harbor, and all of a sudden the wind picked up, and it was blowing tremendous force. And this lasted for a little while. Norm called from the West Coast and to check on the ship because they saw it on the Weather Channel. It was just the hurricane was just right over Boston Harbor, and the brother said that all of a sudden there was light, and the sun came out, and he could see it. He was surrounded by clouds, but he could see above him the brilliant sun shining in a blue sky. So the eye passed directly over the ship, and it was very calm. And then, after about 30 minutes, it started to hail again as the eye moved across. As the storm moved across. But this is a reminder of equanimity. Is that we're in the center place within ourselves. We can see that brilliant sun, where the storms of life whirl around us. So the virtue of equanimity is a vibration. Our physical sun, as we move around it, around during the course of a year, it's bathed by these what we're called 12 energies of virtue, or 12 vibrations. So on last Monday, we entered the sign of Libra, the vibration of equanimity, the balance. And if you stand at the labyrinth, in front of the labyrinth, you can see 3 stones, one to the left, one in the center, and one on the right. And so on the first day of Libra, the sunrise shines directly over the middle standing stone. And it symbolizes the balance between the hot of the summer and the cold of the winter. So we're standing at the middle point where the days and nights are equal in the northern hemisphere, and the days or nights are equal in the southern hemisphere because it is the spring equinox. So it only happens twice a year. Sri Chinmoy wrote some piece about how to practice equanimity. What are the various things that we can do to bring equanimity to us and bring more peace and calm in our lives. He said, we need to be active, but we need to undertake activity with equanimity and inner peace. As well as working and achieving things, we should not ignore looking after ourselves and paying attention to the inner life. And there are actions that we can practice. One is, these are very simple, but I find in my life that they're very challenging. Do one thing at a time with full attention. 2, take time for relaxation. 3, no attachment to results. And 4, don't panic. Deal with difficulties calmly. And on that last one, I reflected on an experience I had while I was living in the upper desert in Nevada about 35 years ago. It was a beautiful Saturday morning, not a cloud in the sky. I think it was the end of July. And at that altitude, it doesn't get really, we can get over 100, but it's fairly dry and pretty comfortable. So I got in the truck and I drove down Interstate 80 to the place we call Collar and Elbow, which is it's like a small mountain range at the top of the pass there. And I drove my truck in about 6 or 7 miles and parked at the bottom of one of these slot canyons and walked up. I walked up one of these passages or ridges to a point up on the top. And when I left, there wasn't a cloud in the sky. When I drove and I was hiking up, I looked up, there wasn't a cloud in the sky. And I walked up to the top, and I don't know how long I was up there. I was kind of looking for rocks. I was kind of like a rock hound, so I was looking for rocks, and it was just an incredible kaleidoscope of color and agates and just different minerals and arrowhead stuff. And yeah, it was just amazing. I don't know how many hours, or was it minutes, I just kept looking at the ground. And then at one point, I noticed that it started to get dark. It was getting darker and darker. And as I looked up, it was totally black. It was like almost like midnight black. And the thing I realized at that point is I was probably right directly underneath a huge thunder cell. And if you see a thunder cell from the side, you can see it in the mountains. It goes up thousands of feet, maybe 30, sometimes 40,000 feet as a column. And I was basically right underneath one. And I looked up, and all of a sudden, I started to feel this stinging sensation on my head and on my back. And there was like 1-inch hail was starting to fall on me. I had a flannel shirt, a light flannel shirt on, and no protection. So, and I had like a baseball cap or something. I didn't have very much. But I just started to panic. I mean, this was like so intense. I couldn't see more than 20, 30 feet in front of me because it was all white. The ground was all white. The density of the hail that was going was just really dense. And so I got to a point and I crouched down. I put my hands on my head, and then I just screamed. I said, "Divine Mother, help!" And just then I heard this voice within myself. It said, "Run!" So and I got up, and my adrenaline, because I was going into hypothermia because I started to shake, and got up, and that helped because I was running, and I ran as fast as I could go, and I don't know how I did it, but I vaulted over this cattle fence. It must have been 4 or 5 feet high. I just kind of sailed over the top of it. And I got out to the interstate at the very top, and all these trucks were coming by, and they were spraying water on me, just huge columns of water. And I stuck my thumb out, and I was going to hitchhike. And this is like, but I felt an inner calm. I felt like everything was going to be okay. I mean, I was definitely weathering a storm, but I felt a calm. And then it wasn't much more than 10 or 15 minutes, this car pulls up in the driving rain and pulls up to the side of the road, and this lady opens the door and says, "Come on, get in, I'll take you home." And I always thought that was probably Divine Mother, because I asked truck drivers later that there's no way they would stop for anything on the top of the ridge like that. Or anybody. Anyway, I got home and took a warm bath and stopped my shaking because I couldn't stop shaking. And but I remember that experience, and I know that whatever difficulties arise, you can always weather the storm by being inside, being in the center place. Okay, after that, I don't know. Let's see. Yogananda had some quotes about equanimity. He said, "Do not feel attachment to the old. Accept changes with equanimity and perform in a spirit of divine freedom whatever duties come your way." And also, by calming our own reactions, we cultivate equanimity instead of projecting like and dislikes onto a world we cannot control. So I'd like to mention a quote by Norm, which will lead us into our meditation. Equanimity is the attribute expressing divine balance physically, mentally, and spiritually. Equanimity is required to balance the divine dual forces, the male and female, that exist within us and intertwine our spine. These forces meet at the fulcrum point within us, this observer seat, which sits in from the bridge of the nose, in from the temples, and down from the crown of the head. And it's roughly where the pituitary center is in the human body. And that is the center of the observer seat, where we sit and we can visualize seeing that light as a reflection out in front of our vision. So April is going to play the bowls, and we'll go into our meditation series and try to find that observer seat within us, which is inward from the bridge of the nose, in from the temple, and down from the roof of the head. And breathe. Relax breathing. The essence of virtue is love, a love from the divine inner sun. And it is that consciousness which has created all that we see in an image that is pleasing, including our physical sun and these bodies that we live in. The nature of virtue is that one moment you can be without it, and the next moment you have it. It's been likened to a razor's edge, trying to balance ourselves like a tightrope walker walking across the chasm. It is absolutely necessary that we find that center place within ourselves. And exhibit calmness. There's no room for panicking, and there's no room for self-doubt. It's just being total surrender into the arms of our mother and father. In that moment, we have equanimity. And in that moment, we have the clear vision of the inner sun. And in that moment, we are one with all life in Christ consciousness. You can follow me in prayer. O Divine Spirit, thank you so much for your guiding presence with us every moment. We have only but to call on you. With full concentration, with intense love and devotion. You have given us the ability to ride out life's storms, and to go onward into your brilliant light. Amen.
Deep down inside I've got that everlasting love. It's shining like the sun. It radiates on everyone. And the more that I give, the more I've got to give. It's the way that I live. It's all I'm living for. Deep down inside I've got that everlasting love. It's shining like the sun. It radiates on everyone. And the more that I give, the more I've got to give. It's the way that I live. It's all I'm living for.
Deep down inside I've got that everlasting love. It's shining like the sun. It radiates on everyone.
And the more that I give, the more I've got to give. It's the way that I live. It's all I'm living for. Shining like the sun, it radiates on everyone. And the more that I give, the more I've got to give. It's the way that I live. It's all I'm living for. Yes, the way that I give, the more I've got to give. It's the way that I live. It's all I'm living for. May the grace of God bless men and every woman in this land. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. Whatever comes to meet us, you know the darkness won't defeat us. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. Some say the end is coming, said our souls are running, but I say, stay strong and keep your faith alive. Let's all come together, take care of each other. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. Raise your hand, in the air, stay strong, keep your faith alive. Take a stand, say a prayer, stay strong, keep your faith alive. Hand in hand and side by side, with hearts open wide. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. Help others find a way, create heaven here today. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. Raise your hand, in the air, stay strong and keep your faith alive. Take a stand, say a prayer, stay strong and keep your faith alive. In times like these we need to remember what is real. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. United in our quest to spread love and happiness. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. Raise your hand, in the air, stay strong and keep your faith alive. Take a stand, strong and keep your faith alive. Jai Ram Ram Bolo, Jai Ram Ram Bolo, Jai Ram Ram Bolo, Sita Ram, Sita Ram. Jai Ram Ram Bolo, Jai Ram Ram Bolo, Jai Ram Ram Bolo, Sita Ram, Sita Ram. Jai Ram Ram Bolo, Jai Ram Ram Bolo, Jai Ram Ram Bolo, Sita Ram, Sita Ram. Jai Ram Ram Bolo, Jai Ram Ram Bolo, Jai Ram Ram Bolo, Sita Ram. Raise your hand in the air. Stay strong, keep your faith alive. Lend a hand, say a prayer. Stay strong, keep your faith alive. Stay strong and keep your faith alive.